Who are you talking to, sweetheart?
Sorry, to
Me?
yes.
Lenwood?
I blanked out with the name. Sorry,
Lenwood?
Lenwood. Yes.
Yeah, you're a little bit. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Excellent.
All right. Let me put this on me. Yes. Put on gallery. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tell Me Something Live. Sorry for a short delay. This is the first time we're doing the first Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern every first Monday. And we have a great show today. I have my co-host, Andrea Mason, and we are going to just have some fun and get into an exploration of speakers and entrepreneurs that are going to share information on things they got going on in their lives and also things that you might not know about them. And we have Alpa Pandya, Bronner, Lyons, and also Louise Sandoval, and they are going to bring it because we came to bring some powerful messages within what we say. So I hope y'all are aware and I hope y'all are up to date with everything that's going on in the world because that's where we coming from, baby. And we hope y'all are safe and we hope y'all are not sick. And if y'all are, get well soon. Andrea, you want to take over?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard from all areas and all corners of the world. We have amazing speakers. We are going to start it off with Miss Alpa Pandya-Patel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mind and thought transformation expert, and she's a certified consultant at Procter Gallagher Institute. She is also the CEO of Mind Matrix Consulting and Entrepreneurship, BBC Radio, and the presenter and a keynote speaker and author. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Miss Alpa Pandya. Thank you very much.
That was a great intro. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea. And also want to thank Lenwood for inviting me here today. So really, I have a question for you all today. Do you get stuck concerning yourself that everything's got to be just perfect before you start? And the reason why I asked that question is I was like that. And I later discovered that my problem was that I was a procrastinator and I put all kinds of decisions off. And I also learned that the underlying issue of indecision is caused by lack of self-confidence. But now I make decisions very, very quickly. And I move into action because I focused on creating what I call an ironclad bulletproof attitude. And I rid myself of one of the biggest causes of failure, the fear of criticism and worrying about what others are going to say or what others think. And I finally actually got sick and tired of worrying what people thought. So that's the question that I have for you. What about you? What's stopping you from really going after what you seriously want? And take a serious look at what I've said just now and have a little talk to yourself and ask yourself, what is it that's stopping you? It's not about perfect, but it's about effort. And the other thing that I want to really share with you is when you just sit around and think about your goal, and the more you think about it and you put it off, what you're doing there is you're creating doubt. And then the doubt crystallizes into fear. And that's how people get stuck. Okay, so if you're stuck right now, and a lot of people don't even know that they're stuck, that's the worst thing. So the magic pill is called decision. Just make a decision. And if you make a decision, everything starts to change. If you procrastinate, what you're doing is you're creating doubt, and that's why you're stuck. And the other thing that I really want to share is, I don't know if you know, but I'd like to share with you is that we all have many gifts that we've never opened. And I'm not talking about the wrapped up ones that are given to us or brought for us, or even the ones that we gift to ourselves. I'm talking about gifts of talent, gifts of ability and reach that are yours for the taking. A lot of people don't even know what these gifts are. See, the people we call gifted are different from the crowd in just one very, very special way. And that difference is that they accepted their gifts. They let it happen for themselves. The successful people are really high achievers that you admire. You know, anybody that you can think of that you admire right now, and one day aspire to be like, or even do the same as they're doing. They are those individuals that actually opened their gifts. Yeah. So get in tune with what your gifts are. They are winners because they claimed their gifts. They took them out of the wrapping and they used them. And these gifts are not just potent and poignant to them, they're for you as well. And it's time for you to do something with your gifts. Claim them, create them, reach for them, and they will materialize for you. Yeah. And we're also, the third month into 2021 today, March the 1st. Yeah. So how is everything turning out for you in this year of 2021? Did you have a clear, rock solid goal that you have set for yourself? Or are you still one of those people who are still deciding what it is that they want, or probably don't even know what it is that you want? But here's the truth. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. It won't be the place that you want to go to. Because not having a plan is like, I don't know, turning up to an airport without a ticket. You'll stumble around, you'll get on a random flight and wake up wondering why the hell you're in a country you don't want to be in. Yeah. You might think that's a funny example because nobody's stupid enough to turn up to the airport without a ticket, right? But 99% of people turn up to life each day without a plan. And when they wake up one day and wonder why their life isn't how they want it to be, that's the reason why. Life is a game. And like most games, you need a plan to win. And I say it's a game of minds. And once you understand that game of minds, you'll be an absolute winner. And I want to share a little story about myself for those of you who don't really know anything about me. But for the first 39 years of my life, I didn't have a plan. And I wondered why the world was so unfair to me because I didn't have the life that I wanted. So I started blaming other people. But then I realized, and when I started at the age of 39, which I thought was a pretty late age to start going after what I truly wanted, but I have actually worked with clients who started way past that age. So it doesn't matter how old you are. The fact is that you've got to start from where you are right now, whatever that age is for you, whatever that place is for you right now, wherever you are right now, just get going. And so in the last 6 years, some of my successes, I've been able to go from earning £40,000 living in my parents' home in England, UK, to quitting my call center job of 14 years, which I absolutely hated. I've opened up 3 online businesses. I travel multiple times a year. I bought my dream car, Porsche 911 Carrera, and I've increased my income by 65%. And most importantly, finding my purpose and helping others live the lifestyle and create the business that they want. And I think that's the most rewarding thing that I have achieved in the last 6 years of my life, when I actually woke up and I admitted that I was stuck. And to add to my achievements, becoming Bob Proctor's top UK consultant, working side by side with him, is one of the greatest things that I could ever have achieved. So how did that happen? Well, to put it simply, it happened by bringing the future into the present so that I could do something about it today and not just ponder on day to day aimlessly. So my question today is, do you want to see how to create those plans, how I created my plans, how I got to where I am? Well, I have an offer for you today. I'm pulling back the curtains and I'm revealing the process and system through my 5-day formula to success, which is a live training that's happening on Facebook, which starts today. And it's the material that I'm going to share with you on how I started what I did and how to implement this system and process, because that's what it is, that I have used, that you can do something about it today as well. Yeah. And I think most people's strategy for life and business is less successful than a drunken bet in, I don't know, Vegas. You know, why roll the dice of your life when you can rig the game instead? Yeah. So if you want to finish this year, 2021, being your best year yet, I think you need to definitely join me in my Facebook Live that I'm doing later this afternoon for you guys. It'll be evening in the UK, 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. EST. If you want to learn more, hop onto the Live Formula to Success training. And it starts today, as I say, and I will share with you exactly what I did to achieve what it is that I've achieved. Thank you.
Alpa, one quick question before you go off. What exactly happened in your life when that light came on that says, I need to change, and what pushed you to make that change?
A lot of things happened. I was going through depression, which I didn't know at the time. I'm talking about 6 years ago. I was in a job, I was stuck in a job, a call center job, which I absolutely hated, but I was there because I got complacent. But I also knew that I was stuck and I needed to get out, and I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. And at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I didn't want to be controlled. If you've worked in a call center before, you know that you're controlled. Like, your holidays are not your holidays. Your time is not your time. If you go for a quick loo break, you're questioned as to why you're a minute late. All of that kind of stuff was really getting to me. So that was the turning point for me, but I didn't really know how to get out of it. Every year I would say, this year I'm going to quit this job. This year I'm going to quit this job. And it never happened until I started following Bob Proctor. I started using his advice. And it was through that I quit my call center job, that I met him in August 2014, and things just shifted for me. But I took action. I think that was the biggest thing, that I took action. And more than that, I think I made a decision, and I made a committed decision that my life wasn't going to stay the way that it was, because another 14 years could have passed by and I would still have been stuck in that job with everybody else and become part of the furniture, which is what I didn't want to do.
Absolutely. Excellent. I love that you took a choice and a chance on life, bet on you 100%. Just reminding everyone out there, you do have a choice, and she is living proof. Please check her out this afternoon and change your life. Take control. Like I say, take the remote control of your life and press play. Thank you, Alpa. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Alpa. And you could go ahead and bring in Mr. Louise, because I know he's a little short on time.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this next gentleman coming to the platform is from where I'm around, Jersey, United States representing. I appreciate it. Mr. Louis Sandoval. He is a high-spirited, inspirational, and motivational speaker who's been inspiring and who has been motivating people at the age of only 15 years. However, that is a lifetime in some people's eyes. He went from the struggling school and barely graduating high school to now working AV, senior support engineer, and is one of the top 3 social media companies in the world. Louis, I know you're short for time, my friend. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually have some more time. The meeting I had canceled, so I'm good now. Let's do it. Hello, everyone. My name is Louis. Louis, I prefer Louis, either one. Today, I'm here to talk to you. Is there a dream that you have inside of you? Is there something that's burning inside of you, as at least something you feel like you're called to do, or something, a career change, or you want to start a new business? I'm here to let you know it's not by coincidence. Me, at the age of 24, I had this thought in my head. I want to work in the audio video industry. How that happened? At the age of 21, I got involved in my church. I started volunteer. I offered to volunteer in the sound ministry, in the media department at the church, because they were short staffed and they needed somebody. So I said, hey, let me step up. Let me do this. Let me serve. Let me help. So I decided to help. I started learning. I started developing a passion for audiovisual, for doing sound, setting up projectors, and just doing audio video pretty much. And that passion developed and developed. And one day I was in the auditorium. I was setting up the sound system at the church or at the auditorium. And I said, I would love to do this for a living and get paid for it. And something just clicked right there. I want to do this for a living. I can't. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what I love to do and get paid for it. I tried applying. I tried talking to few people that I knew. I tried asking a few people, but there were no positions open. I couldn't just leave my job and go and do an on-call job for audiovisual when they needed me. When I was just recently married, I couldn't just drop what I'm doing. I'm the only breadwinner in the house, so I couldn't do that. So I had to keep on working my 9 to 5. Got different jobs here and there, and it came to a point in my life where it was just like, I can't do this. I got tired of my job at one point. I got tired of my job. It's a whole 9 to 5 going into work. You've been there. I'm sure many have been there or probably there right now where you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. There's no joy in this. There's no fulfillment in this. I'm not feeling it. You start calling out of work. You're like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't feel good. I'm not coming in. And you know how it is. We've all been there before. And it came to a point in my life when I was like, you know what? I can't do this no more. I have to go after what I want. If I'm passionate about audiovisual, I have to pursue it. So I started applying. I started speaking to different people. And out of the blue, this one guy reached out to me and said, hey, Lou, I applied for a position, but I didn't get it. Go for it. Give it a shot. And I tell you the truth, I went for the interview, second interview, third interview. I ended up getting a job in the AV industry. My passion was working in the AV industry, and I was able to walk in it and do what I love to do. And now I'm doing it now. I'm working for one of the top 3 social media companies in the world. I'm doing what I love to do and getting paid for it. So if you have something inside of you, like, can I really do graphic design? Can I really start my own business? Can I really do what I love to do and get paid for it? Yes, you can do it. Dreams do come true. Another dream that I had, another desire that I had was to be a speaker. So I'm going to take you back to maybe about 21 years old. I was at the church, sitting in the front row of my church, and I was watching my pastor preach. And I was like, hey, this desire just rolled up inside of me. I would love to be up there just like my pastor preaching one day. It was a desire that I can't explain, but it was just there. Just like the thought that I had, I would love to do this for a living and get paid for it. I had that same desire sitting in the front row of my church, seeing my pastor preach. I want to be up there one day just like him preaching. And a few years went by. I got involved in the youth ministry. I started speaking to youth, and eventually ended up being on that stage where my pastor was preaching and I was preaching. So that desire, that thing that I had inside of me, it came to pass. Fast forward, this was maybe like about 4 years ago. I was working in my job, doing my morning sweeps, checking my rooms, and I was listening to Les Brown, the motivational speaker. And just listening to him, it just inspired me to be a motivational speaker, not only to speak at church, but to take my message and inspire people and motivate people and help them get unstuck and inspire people to pursue their dreams just like I did. If I can do what I love to do and get paid for it, so can you. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't think, well, look at my past, look at what happened to me. I'm not qualified enough. To be honest, I wasn't qualified to get my job in the AV industry, but God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. So if this is something that you're called to do, you're going to do it. You just have to take your steps. You have to step out in faith. You have to put yourself, or the chatter in your head, or the negativity, or the past, or what people are saying, and just go forward and do you. Do what it is that you feel in your heart that you're called to do. What is that thing that calls out to you? That's what you're called to do. For me, it was working with young people. I felt that calling to work with young people, to mentor them, to provide spiritual guidance, help them through their high school, their teenage years, with dealing with fitting in and hanging out with the wrong crowd. I was called to do that. Thing just kept on calling out to me. What's that thing that's calling you right now? Maybe it's to start your own business. Maybe you want to go back to college. It doesn't matter how old you are. I just enrolled into college. I'm 43 years old. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can start your own business. Look at the owner of KFC. At the age of 60, he broke out. If there's something inside of you, forget about all the excuses. You go after it. If it's something that you're called to do, it's going to happen. So my desire now is what I'm working towards right now is to be a motivational speaker at schools, to motivate young people. I struggle with high school failing classes, making the wrong decisions, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And there came a point in my senior year where I was like, I can't do this no more. I had to cut out the friends from my life, start hanging out with the right crowd, start cutting out people out of my life. And I just want to help young people. I want to mentor them. I want to help them academically, and that's just my desire. But again, if there's something if you're called to do something, go after it. Pursue your dreams. Manifest your dreams. You can make it happen.
Hey, Louise, thank you, thank you. Hey, question. So I love that you're basically talking about finding your purpose. Everybody doesn't know how to. Some people have still never figured it out. That's one thing. As you said, it doesn't. As you and Alpa said, it doesn't matter the age. You know, she has clients that are older that are getting it popping. I know Les Brown once spoke of a friend of his that a business associate of his that was in her 60s, and she created a multi-million-dollar building after everybody told her no. And as you said, KFC. And me, you know, I'm 38, starting a new leaf on my life. And you talked about school. I'm about to go back to school myself to complete my psychology degree. And my fiance, she's going back to school to complete her nursing degree. And both of us are on our mid and late 30s. So, like you said, it's never too late, and it's never too early neither. So, my question to you, what is a quick tip or idea that someone can use to try to find their calling, their purpose?
Well, like I mentioned before, what is that thing that calls out to you? What is the thing that you want to do? If you don't know, if there's nothing calling out to you, what are the things that you enjoy doing? What are the things that brings you joy? That, like, there's always the saying, what could you do for what would you do if you never get paid for it? What is that thing that brings you joy? For it could be writing, it could be singing, it could be dancing, it could be whatever it may be. That thing that brings you joy. Maybe you may not see it, but other people see it. Somebody comes to you like, man, Lou, you cook the most awesome rice and beans and chicken, or you make the best pasta, and people complimenting you, and you're like, well, I'm pretty good at this. I think I should maybe go do this for a living. Or maybe you speak and you think you're like the worst horrible speaker, and people are like, oh man, Lenwood, you're the best speaker I've ever heard. The way you speak to me, the just your tone of voice and your passion, it does something to me. What is it? Look at what people are saying. Look at yourself, the things you enjoy, and if you still don't know, serve. How I found my passion for AV, I decided to volunteer and offer my services. Hey, you need help? I don't know nothing about audiovisual, but I'm here to help. And me serving, it opened up a door. Like, wow, I really enjoy this. So I really like this. So serving, seeing what you like, what you enjoy, and hear what people are saying you're good at. Those are the 3 tips I would give.
Fantastic. Andrea, do you have any thought of a question for Mr. Lou?
Yes, Lewis, I absolutely want to call back to that quote you had said. God doesn't call to qualify, he calls qualified to call. It's amazing. That is so key because, you know, like you said, you get that quiet the noise of the mind. Listen to those who surround you that you engulf. Take the passion, take the lead. That's what it's about. And, you know, that really resonated with me, and I think it will with our listeners and our viewers, because if you love what you do, you are your number one asset to your skill, your quality, and you can do it with passion. And I feel the passion, Lewis. I feel it, and I feel that vibe. That's what we need. That's what it's all about. I commend you for going back to school. It's never too late. You know, your age is just a number. It's what you do in that time and what you do after. So love it. Love it. Great job. Keep going. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt. Thank you very much, Louise. And for those that don't know where y'all are at, y'all have stumbled upon Tell Me Something Live with Lenwood Wilson Jr. and co-host Andrea Mason. And we have a lovely speaker panel, people that are telling their tales and speaking their heart, going along their journeys in life, and what made them do that mind shift. It's a mind shift that takes you to that next level. It's like you have the key already on you, and all you have to do is find out where you want to be and sometimes you need a why. Sometimes you need something strong enough to just make your mind wake up. You know, with me, it was my newfound fiance and daughter and my newfound following in what God is telling me to do versus what I'm doing. You know, everybody has a different why. You know, everybody has something different that gets that heart tugging. But if you have something and you feel like a little itch in your heart, that's what you need to be doing, baby. And, you know, just welcome to this show. And Andrea, if you could go ahead and introduce Bronner.
Yes, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, save the best for last, never forgotten, never let go. All righty, we have Ms. Bronner Lyons. She is an international female conference coach with a background in psychology and NLP, exercise and nutrition, girl after my own heart. She is dedicated over 10 years to personal development, to personally develop herself in many more ways and areas of her life, and has been coaching both men and women, and of all backgrounds, age groups, and genres since 2010. She has coached many areas, indicating those of, but is not limited to business, fitness, corporate, personal, and development. And she's confided and also been able to help them develop a wealthy lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Bronner Lyons, my lady, here you go. Thank you.
Andrea, thank you so much. And Lenwood, thank you so much for creating this space. I just think it's fantastic. I've really enjoyed listening to both Alpa and Luis. I just thought they were spectacular. And also, like Lenwood, I love your questions as well. They're so good. So I just want to say thanks so much. I'm really grateful to be here. I also love this topic today. So advice for people who feel stuck in their life. You know, there's so many people right now with everything that's going on in the world at the moment. Maybe in certain areas of their life, they feel a bit stuck. You know, feeling stuck doesn't mean that you have to feel stuck in every area of your life. There could be some people that are watching or listening that maybe they feel, you know, certain areas of their life are going really well, but other areas are maybe a bit stuck. So for everyone, this is going to hit them in a different way, and they're going to, you know, pick up different things on this. But for sure, like listening to Luis, they're talking about dreams, talking about service, Alpa talking about making decisions, and, you know, taking that action. You know, all of that is going to tie into what we're going to speak on today. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here all the way from Ireland. Before we get into it, as Andrea was saying, I've done a lot of work in the past. I've got a degree in psychology, so if any of you want any help, just reach out. I'm happy to help. NLP practitioner, inner confidence coach, inner leadership coach for men and women. Have an online platform of it's just a personal development platform where you get access to a personal trainer, a positive psychologist, a money mindset coach. You know, everything that I do is all about holistic growth. And really, it's the crux of what I talk about is connecting back into your inner brilliance. What makes you you? What makes you special? And when you feel stuck, often what I say to clients is feeling stuck is when you're stagnating in your life in general, or it could just be in a particular area in your life. So how can you get out of that? How can you get away from that? And what causes it to begin with? So a lot of what I'm going to say has already been touched on, which is fantastic because it means that everything is just going to flow into each other. What's great about this sort of platform as well is that, you know, you could have 3 speakers that are saying the exact same thing, but they're going to have their different stories or different energies or different way of explaining things. So people are just going to relate to different speakers. So that's just amazing as well. So the first thing that I'll say is that, you know, like Alpa was saying, making decisions. I'll talk a lot on taking action, and actions don't have to be towards a certain goal. If you're feeling really stuck right now, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to focus, you know, there's nothing in particular that you're working towards, that's absolutely perfectly okay, and that's 100% fine. So what I would always say is just take some action. So it could be making your bed in the morning, it could be getting up to turn on the kettle to make a cup of tea or some coffee, it could be taking your dog for a walk, ringing your parents, whatever that is some kind of action. And the reason I'd say taking action, regardless of how big or small it is or what it's related to, taking action is so important for multiple reasons. The first reason that I'll talk about is because it creates momentum. So what we're looking to do here, especially if you're stuck, you're kind of stagnating in that area, right? So again, it doesn't have to be in the area that you're taking the action, but if you're feeling a bit stagnant in an area, the reason we want to start creating momentum is because we want to start putting energy into taking action and movement. Because what's the difference between stagnation? What's the opposite of stagnation is movement, right? So we want to start moving in some direction, okay? So the first thing is we want to start creating that positive momentum and taking action. The second thing is that we want to start training our subconscious mind to knowing that you know, we are taking action, we're action takers. So again, it doesn't matter what the action is, we want to start training ourselves that we are action takers. Also, even if they're only small actions, we'll feel like we're getting somewhere, we'll feel like we're being productive, we'll feel better about ourselves, and that in itself is going to help us to want to take more action. So really the first thing that I'll talk about here is how to take more action, and I have a fantastic different exercise that you can start using from today to start taking more action. But also what I want to talk about is I'm going to talk about another tool, which is a little meditation that you can do, you know, after this summit has ended or whenever it feels good for you, is to really think back to what's important for you. So going back to what Luis was saying, you know, what are your dreams? Like, what makes you feel good? Like, what is it that you're really, really passionate about? And for some people, they don't know what that is. They don't know what their purpose is until later in life. But the thing is that, like, everything, let's just say, for example, you're Colonel Sanders and you're about to create KFC and you're 60 years old, but Colonel Sanders might have started when he was 60 years old, but he had whole 60 years before that, and everything that happened in that 60 years brought him to KFC, and he wasn't aware when he was like 5 years old or 10 years old or 30 years old or 50 years old that this was bringing him to his passion. But it's also that just having that awareness that, like, you're totally on point, like you're on your path right now, even if you don't feel like you are. Like, everything you're doing right now is bringing you towards whatever it is that you're here to do. So the second exercise we're going to talk about is really feeling back into, you know, who am I? What are my dreams? What makes me excited? Like, what are my values and my morals and my principles and what's important to me? So that'll be the second thing. And then the third thing we're going to talk about today, before we finish off today's incredible summit, is looking at maybe why we feel like we're stuck or stagnating to begin with. So let's talk about the first tool first. So I want everyone, whether it's now or after today's call, to get out a pen and paper, and I want you to literally brainstorm and think of every single thing you can think of that makes you feel good, that makes you happy. And we're going to call this your happy list. Okay, so it's kind of linking into what Luis was saying about, like, what brings you joy, but it's a little bit different, and it's just your happy list. This could literally be having a cup of coffee, being with animals, talking to your friends, going to concerts, traveling. It could be something huge, something really small. It doesn't matter, just whatever makes you happy. I remember doing this with a client before, and they said they loved putting clothes out on the line because it was just really relaxing for them, and that was just their thing. They just love doing that. So, like, really, whatever that is for you, just go and do it, get it down on that list. So we're going to call this your happy list, okay? And the first thing that we're going to do, once we have our happy list compiled, we're going to have this as like a tool in our toolbox. So this is something that, especially at the beginning, some of this might be a bit intentional. It might not be something that you do automatically or you do, you know, on autopilot. So we're going to be a little bit intentional at the start, okay? So we're going to have our happy list. As you go about the day, I want you to try do as many things in your happy list as possible. So if that's talking to a particular person, watching a particular TV show, listening to a song, making your bed, having some tea, whatever that is for you, we want to try incorporate throughout your day as many things on your happy list as possible. Because what this is going to do is going to start feeding positive energy and positive vibrations into your day. And this is going to help you to feel unstuck. Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to do. So after today's call, get all of your happy things down on paper and go make this happen. This is literally a game changer. The second thing we're going to look at is a meditation, okay? Well, it's not really meditation, more kind of visualization, more kind of just a feel-good buzz. We're going to take a couple of moments and just relax and just think, what were the things when I was a kid, like when I was a little boy or a little girl, and I was like in my room and I was playing with my toys and I was doing all this sort of stuff. What were the things that made me really happy and really excited? What were the things that, like, you know, when I grow up, I'm going to be an astronaut? Like, what was that for you? What were your goals? What were your dreams? For me, I wanted to be a famous singer actress in Hollywood, and I wanted to make loads of money. And then I was going to use my money to buy the Amazon because I wanted to save the Amazon. I was really upset that the Amazon was getting chopped down. So that's what I was going to use my fame and fortune for, was to save the Amazon. And that sounds like off the wall. It's like, oh my goodness, like innocence. Years later, after going through loads of personal development and work myself, I realized that it's not that off the wall. You know, there's so many ways that if I wanted to, I could help serve, you know, what's happening in the Amazon and what's going on over there. And, you know, there's so many ways that I could, if I wanted to, I could go into a studio and record a CD. I could sign up for extras and go be on films. I could do so many different things. Like, there's so many ways that you have all these dreams and all these wishes when you're a child, and you're like, they're just crazy, because like we're big thinkers when we're children, right? But think about it, like, what was it that was really important to you? And then think, that's the second step, is why was that really important to you? So what were the morals, values, principles, dreams, and everything that was important behind the dream? Because you're not different. You're not a different person than you were when you were a little child. You're still that little child on the inside. We're definitely all just big children. Let's be real. So what we want to do is look into why did we have those dreams? So what was it that was important for us in the background? So for me, it was having fun, it was traveling, it was meeting people, it was like, you know, having like this change. I love change. I love to travel. I travel all the time. I absolutely love it. You know, it's helping, it's serving, it's being around animals, it's, you know, making a difference, like leaving my stamp in the earth before I go. Like, these are all things behind the dreams of being a famous singer, actress, and saving the Amazon. So just think about that for yourself. I really want you to dig into this, because you're still that person. And what happens is, when we're growing up, there's a lot of conditioning that takes place. So we're a child, we're totally connected to ourselves, we totally know who we are and where we're going and what's important to us. And as we get older, we start learning about social norms and what's expected of us and expectations, and, you know, what are the rules, like what kind of things are you supposed to say, what are you not supposed to say, how are you supposed to be, how are you not supposed to be. And what happens is, as you get older, you kind of go off your track. So if you're feeling stuck now in any area of your life, it generally means that you're after going off your track a bit. So you're kind of, you've disconnected from who you really are and what's really important to you. And that's what's causing. So we're talking, step 3 is what's causing the feeling of being stuck. We're after disconnecting from what's important to us. And it just takes a little bit to get us back on track. Just a little bit. Just getting into those habits of doing things that make us feel good. What's on our happy list? You know, it couldn't be easier to do something, because it's things that make us happy anyway. And sometimes we're not going to want to do some of the stuff on the happy list, because maybe, you know, we don't want a cup of tea, or we don't want to talk to that person, or we don't want to go for a walk. But guaranteed there's going to be something on your list that you're like, yeah, actually I do want to do that. And who knows, once that momentum starts, you might want to do another thing on your happy list and another thing on your happy list. And before you know it, you're already feeling better. So the goal of this is to get out of the stuckness, right? So the goal is to feel better and feel more motivated and feel like we want to go and we want to take on the world and start like working towards whatever our dream is and whatever makes us our best self. So how are we going to do that? We're going to focus on being happy. We're going to focus on taking action no matter what it is. And again, doing our happy list is taking action. And so building that momentum of taking action, focus on like, okay, what's actually really important for us, and getting back on track. The very last thing I want to say before I jump off today is your mornings. Okay, so mornings are so key. Really owning your mornings. I know there's so many speakers out there, there's so many books, so much information about owning your mornings, but really just, we all are worth 10 minutes. We are all worth 10 minutes. Okay, you are definitely worth 10 minutes. So what I would just encourage you all to do is at least 10 minutes of every morning when you wake up. Don't check your phone, don't check your emails, don't put on the TV, don't check the news, don't check any of that sort of stuff. Take at least 10 minutes every morning for yourself and do something that makes you feel good. For me, that's journaling. I like to listen to speakers on YouTube. It could be watching or listening to this audio, for example. Could be going for a walk. It could be, you know, going out and making some good breakfast, filling yourself with some good nutrition, you know, anything, bit of visualization, bit of meditation, bit of reading, whatever that is for you. Take at least 10 minutes every single morning before you check your phone, or you put on the news, or you talk to someone, or you do any of that sort of stuff. This is going to be key for creating, at the very start of your day, creating that positive momentum, and then add on to that the habit of always taking action, regardless of how big or small or what the action is. On top of that, like incorporating some of your happy list, on top of that, connecting into what's actually really important for you. Guarantee you won't be stuck for much longer. So that's me. Thanks so much again. This has been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, if anyone wants to connect, then just hit me up on social media. You have my name there.
Hey, thank you, Bronner. Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love the advice because I love when someone has practical ideas that people can actually add to their everyday life, because that's a real key to your everyday personal development. A lot of people skip those things. A lot of females call it self-care. It doesn't matter what you call it, but you're doing things to make sure that you're in a good mindset, that you're feeling good about yourself, because you really can't get your day going if you're not feeling good about yourself. You might have had a rough yesterday and you're rolling out of the bed and you don't want to get up. So what brought you to where you are, the bright, positive person that you are? And speak a little bit about, your Facebook group or interconnections with that, because you're a big person. You're strong on energy. You're strong on transference. Can you speak a little bit about what brought you to your positive top level and other things surrounding that?
Definitely. Thanks so much for that question. Yeah, so actually, growing up, I was always very, very insecure. I was very quiet. I was an introvert. And the Facebook group that Lenwood's referring to is all about empaths. So people who are highly intuitive, highly sensitive. And the Facebook group, it's free. It's called Empaths Connect, Protect, Inspire. And it's all about how to help empaths or people who maybe just feel a bit stuck or feel a bit unsure, how to really connect into their inner brilliance. So a lot of the exercises that I went through today will definitely bring you towards those goals as well. A lot of the suggestions that I give will help you with that as well. But what really happened for me was I just was a chronic people pleaser, which is very common with empaths. Very weak boundaries. Had a very bad relationship with myself, bad relationship with money. I was always seeking to my growth and my value externally as opposed to internally. And that led to a lot of toxic relationships as well, because I was always having so much expectation on others and being needy with others while also devaluing myself. So that's a lot of kind of like where I came from. It was by really recognizing and trusting myself to say, I need a bit of help here. So I went and I sought help with people around me and support groups and everything. And then from there, I just fell into personal development, like the speakers like Les Brown and many others. And I just really committed to my own internal growth. And through all of that, over the past 15 years, what I really learned was that we all have something incredibly special within us. And that's not just a corny cliche that like you hear, like we all genuinely do. But what happens is through if we go back to that little child who is just like loving life and is just in their own bubble, then we go into school and we're surrounded by all these conditions and all these expectations, we learn to conform. So it's like, okay, so like, this person is like really cool and popular, so like maybe if I act like them, maybe people will like me. We start looking for that validation, that approval. We fear rejection because of the way school is set up, and all of these things. And what happens is the things that make us different is what we push aside, because what makes us different is the opposite of conforming, right? So we want to conform as much as possible, so we want to suppress and reject anything that is different to what the norm is, what's accepted. So basically what I learned over the last 15 years was to really, really love yourself and to really, really love life, and to be really able to be in a position, like you were saying, to give to an extent that, is really powerful, is to be able to recognize, that you are incredible. And to be able to harness the difference within you and to accept that, because for so long as we're trying to suppress the things that make us special, we're never going to be able to accept ourselves. We're never going to feel confident. We're never going to feel like, you know, we're going on our path, because really we're always following everyone else's path, right? And this is learned behavior. So it's not like no one's wrong for doing that. We all do it. But it's really about what makes you special and harnessing your inner brilliance to create the most epic life that you deserve. And that's why I created that Facebook group, and I called it Connect, Protect, Inspire. Connect is all about connecting into self, number one, and then connecting with others. Protect is protecting your own energy, and then inspire is by proxy, like just as a byproduct of like being your best self, you're going to inspire people around you. You're not even trying to do it. It's not your motivation, but you just being your best self is just by proxy, it's going to inspire the people around you. So yeah.
Thank you. Hey, Andrea, do you have any question or thought on what Bronner was talking about?
Absolutely, Bronner. I loved your message. It was simple, it was clear, it was defined, you know, and it really kept things simple, like we talked earlier on. For some reason, as human beings, we try to make everything complex. And if you really, I mean, think about it. How many people can say happy without a smile on their face, or hearing the word happy without a smile on their face? So I think that's definitely key. You know, doing the things you love will bring, not only have impact and influence, but if you're looking really towards it, it can, you know, receive income. And that's what it's about, paying it forward, finding the skill sets. And I liked what you said about connecting, protecting yourself, because that's key. If you're able to connect yourself and be yourself, not only are you suppressing the similarities, but you're expanding the uniqueness. And that's what it's about, and impacting people. So I thank you for mentioning that. That is truly key and stellar. Thank you so much for being a part. I appreciate it.
Hey, and I wanted to hone in on something you spoke about, Bronner, and it's something that I believe, and a lot of people don't actually talk about it. And I like that you mentioned it with what you're saying in the last part you were saying is not to conform, because that's actually in the Bible. It literally says, God, I'm not good at the actual scriptures. My fiance is, but it's actually in the Bible, and it says ye should not conform. It's actually in the Bible. And you know, I don't know your religious background, Bronner, but I'm a Baptist Christian, and you know, my whole family is, and most people, all their lives, all they want to do is be like others. And I was listening to some Earl Nightingale. Anybody don't know about the old school? Y'all need to go to the old school, because that's the book of what created all that's out right now. Earl Nightingale is one of the first person development masters. And I was listening to one of his old school speeches, and he was talking about if you take 100 men starting off the same way in life, say at age 25, which is normally the time of life where people fall off. If you take those people and put 40 years on them, out of those, those 40 years, take 100 men in those 40 years, only one of them will be truly the top 5% of the world. Only about 5 or 6 of them will be financially free. About half of them will already be dead. That's scary. And then the other portion will be then another larger portion will be dependent on other people. So if you don't want to wind up old, raggedy, have to depend on other people when you're 60, 70, 80, start right now. Don't conform. Like, open your mind. Like, you know, I know you love your family, friends, and this way, that way, and the third, but you're living your life. They can't live your life for you, and you can't live through the fears cast upon you from other people. You got to live for you. You know, that's how I got on the path that I was on, living for me. You know, there's a lot of people that in my life I was doing for everyone else and never took the time to find out who I really was. I never did the research on myself. I never looked inside myself. And when I finally took the time, it took me 5 years to really dive deep And I started realizing who I was, and my standards started to change. Who I wanted in a woman started to change. What I wanted in a family started to change. And what I wanted in future comforts started to change. Like, Bronner, I like what you were saying, how you had this huge dream of saving people in the Amazon and all that other stuff like that. Like, that's like mind blowing, because when I was a kid, I didn't have the best childhood, so I didn't even think about things like being a fireman and stuff like that. I wanted to be a Power Ranger, and it was because it took me away from the rough reality that I was living. So elementary and middle school, I just wanted to be a Power Ranger. Even when my friends were like, that's some chump stuff. I was like, I don't care. It's better than where I'm at right now. But the biggest thing is, imagine yourself more powerful than where you are. And you can't do that if you're conforming and you're being like everybody else. Anyone I'm gonna open up the mics, and any closing remarks? We can start off with you, Louise. Any closing remarks to everyone out there in the virtual world?
I gotta say, this was awesome. This was amazing. From all the speakers, it's mind blowing. Guys, just take what you heard today. All of you who are watching us right now, who are watching this awesome show, take what you've heard and apply it to your life. Okay, we can hear it. It could go one ear. Come, oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a great idea. But if you don't do it, it's not gonna do anything. Apply what you've heard today. It'll make a ton of a difference. Even what she just said about writing your happy list down and do it. Just the little things like that. She was on point when she said that. And I don't want to mispronounce your name. That's why I'm like you. But do it. It's amazing. I have my to-do list. I do little things here, what I got to do, and it does make me feel better. Like, oh wow, I did this. Let me do the next thing. Everything you've heard today, apply it. It'll make a world of a difference. Thank you.
Fantastic. Andrea, some closing thoughts?
Yes, as always, Lenwood, this is a mastermind of intelligence, great speakers, great passion. For all of you listening and watching out there, follow your heart and not the hurt nor the hurt. It's going to bring you to where you want to be. Dream big. You have the key in your hand. You make choices. You show the results. Because I promise you, every day you wake up, it's another chance they're giving you to take action. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy to be a part of this show. Check us out and be well, my friends.
Any closing thoughts, Bronner?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks so much again, and totally agree with Luis. This has just been absolutely awesome. I love Andrea saying it's a mastermind of intelligence. That's such an awesome phrase. And I loved, even though I was the one who said the happy list, Andrea, you saying like you can't say happy but it's smiling, or even hear it, like that's so true. So like even if we just incorporate saying happy more in our day, like, life would be so much better. But yeah, it's really like, look, the key to life is to be happy now. And if you're in a place where you're stuck, you're not feeling great, or like a lot is going on in your life, I understand there's a lot of stressful situations going on in the world right now. Focus on what you can do, not on what you can't do, and just really focus on like, okay, how do I want to feel, or what do I want to have in my life, and then be that now. And that might sound ridiculous because it might be completely polar opposite to how you're actually feeling, but just really focus on, okay, I'm just going to be happy now, and then see what happens. See what making that one decision changes in your life, because you have 100% control over how you feel, and you really do. That might sound bizarre, but you really do. But like, there's very little in this world that we have control over. I think people are realizing that a lot in the past year, and there's very little that we do have control over, but we do have control over how we think and how we feel and what actions we take. So it's really embracing that, understanding that, like, we have the control to feel how we want to feel right now, and then everything else will sort itself out. Go be happy.
Yeah, Chef. And this has been Tell Me Something Live. And this is the third episode, another powerhouse. And I've been seeing the views, they've been going up and up and up. So I know people are loving it. Like, share, subscribe. All the links will be in the description. If you're in the live chat, everyone's direct links are in the live chat right now. So show these speakers some love on their entrepreneurial journeys, on their journeys in life, and just whatever you want to show them some love. Hit them up on Facebook, send them a DM. It doesn't matter. These people are showing some real effort to try to get you in a mindset to take it to the next level, y'all. This whole day of this show has been about getting unstuck, being a better person in 2021. And you can't do that if you don't change your mindset of how you think about things. So thank you all for viewing, and we will see you next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern.